Good evening, afternoon, and morning, wherever you are residing from. I hope you're having an amazing day. We are coming in with a multi-lot build designed for witches, so it's got all of the amenities they need, even like a portal and a creepy cave. I kind of wanted to go with like a crooked, typical witch's house style, and I squeezed three of them on this lot. I kind of wanted to make it very scenic, out of the way, and try to be a little bit creepy. I absolutely love these bridges. Every chance I get, I like to use this bridge frame. So that's what I started with, and making the little river, stream, whichever. And I kind of wanted to center this all around being kind of like in a woods, very remote location. I wanted the buildings themselves to be very narrow, quite distinctive in themselves. Kind of what I would personally think was like a awesome little witch's house, and trying to squeeze three of these onto one lot, they definitely proved a challenge, especially for the interior and the roofing, which, as you can see, it was a real challenge to try and get them to be as pointy and not symmetrical. I did not want symmetrical. For once, it did not need some symmetry, just to get that style of the crooked houses. Basically, all I had in mind was a few little crooked houses just in the forest and hoping for the best. This first one was the one I had planned out. The rest I just sort of threw together. And the style of the roofing with the curvature is kind of what I had envisioned. We're doing lots of different adjustments to make the two sides meet together, and so the roofing was seamless throughout. I then moved on to one of the secondary buildings, thinking it would be nice to have a nice tower just coming out of the water, with then a room that was ideally for your potions, your cauldron, like up high, very secretive. However, I did realise that the space just wasn't as it needed to be, so I went from the tower effect straight into a floating room. I mean, this is a magical realm, we can do that, right? It's the same concept as a bridge. Realistically, you just put layer upon layer, delete the layers underneath, and by deleting the layers underneath, that also gives you the ability to increase the height, which meant I did not have the restrictions of the 4 levels, because it technically counts as the level you put it on. So if I build it on the second floor, it will count as the second floor, and then theoretically I could put 2 more rooms above that, and that would count as the 4. This is the 4th, sorry. This is how I kind of get around some of that height issues that you get. And then I quite often put rocks underneath, and it gives you your height, a bit more height than what the normal 4 floor restriction allows. Went in very simple with the last one, just shapes. I just started with shapes and then gave it a wibbly wobbly roof. Like I said, at this point I was just trying to get my building in and trying to figure out the location and how it was all going to fit together, and also have space for the people to live in and interact. You may have noticed with these builds, they are terribly flat on the backs. This does get rectified. However, I mean, you can tell it was a bit of an afterthought. That's on me. And as you can see, we're going in trying to give it a little bit more shape now with this one particularly. And the first one that I built is absolutely terrible. There is no shape on the back whatsoever. I would just like to take a moment to say thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and for those loyal subscribers that have been here with my very, very slow progress. I just really do appreciate it. It's you guys that keep me going, that think, okay, if one person subscribed and liked it, then I'll continue, even if it is in drips and drabs, and I do apologise for that. And for those that comment, I really appreciate your comments. I was just looking through them again today and saw some that I haven't seen yet, and I do appreciate it. I don't get back to you, I'm afraid. That's something I do want to rectify, but I just have a lot of time constraints, which is also why I don't do videos very often. Regardless, I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate you picking up and looking at this video, even if it's like for 10 seconds and you haven't even got to this part. And I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've done one of these narrations, voiceovers, whatever you want to call it, because in all honesty, I'm a rambler. I really am, and I never know what to say on these. So I appreciate you sticking with it and sticking with me. Back to the video. I've done, gosh, I was too busy staring at the desk to actually realise what I was watching and trying to level that out now. And this was for a garden area. I kind of really wanted to encompass all that was for the witches and like the herbal side with this area. So I was kind of trying to make like a leveled garden with your different, because it just went with the landscaping. And also I was trying on the other side to give more of like a little secretive area that I could turn into almost like a meeting place with the coven. And like I mentioned earlier, this is where the basement comes in. The buildings and the aesthetic I was going for was quite with the beams, well, the wooden beams, the stones. I do add bricks. I really wanted to give each building its own sort of personality, I guess. So as you see, I used different materials, and in a big hope that they all work together quite nicely. I will go back a little bit, and you may have realised that I did not follow through with my floating tower. This was purely because of space, and I'm not going to lie, I was being lazy. There was an overlap with the bridge, and therefore that made it more complicated on trying to raise it up, because then it took the bridge with it. I was going to move onto a bigger lot to allow for the space, and then also for the space of the cave, which will be coming up soon. However, I decided not to, because I do so many big builds. It'll be nice to get one on a smaller plot. I like gameplay. I do enjoy actually playing The Sims live rather than the game of just building and build a lot. Took me a minute to get those words out. So I decided I really want to use this lot. There isn't a big one in the realm of Magic Town either, and I just love the aesthetic and the surroundings, and it all just added together. So I made the decision just to axe it, and it was bye little tower. We are finally moving on to adjusting a little bit on my flatness. As you can see, absolutely diabolical. No shape except for in the roof. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just so busy trying to get that design down that it just didn't occur to me that the back was straight flat. And I'm pretty sure that that's okay, but for aesthetic reasons, I like it to have a lot of dimension to them when I build them, being houses, of course. And I mean, I feel like I achieved it, not as well as I could have if I pre-planned it in the first place. We are swiftly moving on to the interior. All the extra outside, or accents, doors, windows, whatever you want to call them, they're all pretty much the same. They're all from the same pack, different colours just to make them look a little bit better, and yeah, also work well together. And as we go on to the inside, I done a lot of room changing, and I'm not used to having to work in such a small space. I mean, this will be a pretty big house, bigger than my house. However, there was a lot of restrictions, especially when it came to placing stairs. I found myself struggling a little bit more than I normally would, just like shove it in, make it all curly-whirly sorted. Tables, stairs, and where they came out upstairs, they all just, it confuddled me pretty much. This is going pretty quick. I have sped it up. Interiors, not really my best area, so, and they all look the same. I'm not the most creative when it comes to doing the interior, but I hate having an incomplete house. I did try to make the houses slightly different. This one's quite light and airy. It's available for a family. I think this is the biggest one, and it has 3 bedrooms. A child's bedroom's put in there. The last house in particular is my favourite. It's all very squashed, and it was very frustrating with the stairs and spaces to put things. It's a studio, and I kind of went with the darker tones. And I just tried to give each house their own sort of personality, as if it was the person that lived it in. But I say person, I mean sim. I'm sure you're well aware of that. I get a little confused very easily. This one's very small, a bit chunky, open planned. I love this kitchen area idea. Separates it off. I don't often use half walls, and I felt like I can make it a little bigger if I don't use half walls. I love the idea of half walls, and I was going to put like screen type thing up. However, these builds are small. I'm not used to small, so open plan was the way to go. And now we are coming into the fight with the stairs, the room plans, and how just mushing random shapes together doesn't always work, apparently. And this one was key to it. We seem to have moved onto the further house, which is my personal favourite, which had a lot of adjustments to accommodate just the basics, and I was so determined to get that poor little cauldron in there. Regardless of where else it could go, it was fitting in there somewhere. The middle house is where we've moved on to. That did have quite a few changes to start with, and like I said, it's the same basic plan. I did try to make it a little different, doing a sort of like staged area, and I think that was actually really cute. It worked out really well. Although I think everything worked out really well, let's be honest. I done it. You may differ. Let me know your opinions. Tell me what I could do better, because honestly, when it comes to interior, I feel a bit clueless. I just try and look for things that look the same and hope for the best. And I normally do interiors based on packs, and then I follow it from there. I feel a bit clueless. I just try and look for things that look the same and hope for the best. And I normally do interiors based on packs, and then I follow it from there. So whatever the almighty being Sims creators have designed already for us, that is what I base my interiors off, and what pack I'm using, what type of house I'm building, and it just all gets shoved in together. We have moved on to my cave area, which will have a portal that goes into a basement available for all residents, and this was kind of like the idea of a secret hideaway where they could practice magic. I was considering making it a little bit more hidden away and just doing underground tunnels from each house that then go into a meeting area underneath. However, I just loved the idea of something a bit magical just out there in the open and mysterious for passers-by to be like, hey, what's going on there? We're coming to a close. I just really wanted to say thank you to everybody commenting, subscribing, and even just watching 10 seconds of a video. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate more when you let me know what you think, maybe what to do next. You guys are amazing, and I shall hopefully be talking to you again soon and bringing some of those ideas into builds. Lots of love for me, and thank you again. Have a lovely day, and maybe make somebody smile today.